Hello and welcome to the Valley today. I am your host, Janet Michael. It is Tourism Tuesday, Winchester, Frederick County edition. We are back at a farm in my neck of the woods.
Family
This
reunion
is
edition.
really weird, creepy, and super cool, all wrapped up into one Justin Kearns, and you had no idea.
No, I didn't. I didn't know you were Russell. I didn't know you were Russell. You're like, oh, you know I'm a Russell, right? No, how would I know that?
And not in a million years did I think I was going to get here and find out that these are actually my people.
That's really fun. But no, so we were in the office and I was talking with Renee. Hey, what should we do for a guest this month? And she's, oh, hey, there's this new market up on the north side of town. We don't have anybody up there. It's really cool. They do a really good job on Facebook. Check them out. See if it's Russell. I was like, all right, let me check out Russell. I shot you a message and that was like 4 days ago.
Here we are. Way to plan, man.
Sometimes I'm 2 months out and sometimes I'm 2 days out.
For the record, I texted you a week and a half before we were supposed to record.
I know you did.
One of the few times I actually had my act
You were
together.
actually ahead, and I was not. And I'm glad you retexted me. Anyway, yeah, that's how it just totally randomly ended up choosing this. And we thought it was very timely with fall coming in and you guys just opening up for the season. This weekend coming into your second year, which is last year, I guess, was just a spur of the moment, last minute kind of thing, but now you're really coming into your own with a much bigger operation. So we thought it was a cool opportunity to do this. Most of our farm markets, as you know, and that the larger markets and everything's on the south side of the city. So we're very excited to have development on the north end of town.
I would have killed for this when I was a kid or younger.
Yeah. Yes. So anyways, that's how we
And you had not been here before today.
No, I had not. It did not hit my radar. It was last minute last year. And then,
last year was pretty last minute.
But I'm in Stevenson, so I'm more on the north end. So this is nice for me. I can come up here. So this is cool for me. We're close to 3-Day Wineries right over there, and the Misty Mountain Mead Works right over there, and Klein Farms. I just drove right past Klein's. Yeah, we got a number of things up here, so I'm excited.
Travis Russell.
Yes.
Here with us, part of Russell Ridge Farm Market. We neglected to say where exactly
was
that
you
we
neglected
are.
to say where we are. That's your job, Jan.
So how in the world did all this come to be?
So my grandfather was the first generation, and then my dad and then my brother and I are third generation farmers. I've been in the Clear Brook. Granddad started farming. I believe it was in the 1950s that Granddad had started getting into farming a little bit. We've continued the legacy through today. Still mainly what we were doing was row crop farming, corn, soybeans, wheat, just recent farm market connoisseurs. But yeah, last year, as everybody's well aware, the drought came through. We were in the garage one evening and my dad, my brother and I are talking and like, what are we gonna do? This is a detrimental year. We just acquired this property in 2023. This was a big expansion for our farming operation. And of course the drought comes through. We're like, what are we gonna do? I've always had interest in opening up something in the agritourism sector. It was never in the playing cards for us. And this gave us that opportunity. Going into a cornfield, cutting a corn maze in corn that's not gonna produce anyway.
It's not like Field of Dreams, it's just like Field of Dreams, really.
Yes. We said, what's the risk? Let's just try it if it works. So we went for it and the community came out, supported really well last year. We're super excited to be expanding. Last year we had about a month and a half of planning that went into it. It was end of July when we decided, hey, we're going to open on September 14th and let's see. So we got that opened up, went really well. This year as we go in, we decided, hey, went really well, let's go ahead and build a barn. So we moved to the front of the property, put up a barn, we expanded, added a couple attractions for the kids, and really kind of are expanding into the family-friendly side of things. We're trying to give people the opportunity to come out and have a day on a farm for a reasonable price, to give their kids that experience that I was fortunate enough to have growing up, that a lot of kids don't now. And as Justin mentioned, there's not a family farm fun center on the north end of Frederick County right now. So I think it's something that's going to benefit the community, and we're really excited to be bringing something new.
So let's talk about the corn maze for a minute. Do you change it? Are you changing it this year from what the design was last year?
Yeah, so last year we had more of a circle theme, which was done out of necessity. So by the time we decided to do the corn maze last year, the corn was about 10 foot tall. We had the GPS in the tractor, we were able to draw
That was going to be my next question. How in the world did you figure out the design?
So we were able to design kind of a circle theme. It was 3 overlapping circles. And it's interesting, if you look on Google Maps, they grabbed a picture of the farm. You can see last year's corn maze. So we did circle theme last year because that's what we were able to do at that point. This year we spent quite a bit more time planning out and doing more of a proper, I'll call it, corn maze. Last year it ended up being about 8 foot wide by the time we ran the tractor through it. And then it was definitely a trial by fire as we worked through, learned a lot, took what we learned last year, coming into this year, we were able to be a lot more
meticulous.
Yes, exactly.
Intentional, right?
We were able to plan out quite a lot better, and I think offering a much better corn maze and overall experience this year than what we did last year.
And that's something North End or South End we just don't have. There's one other
West
one
Oaks has
maybe,
too.
and those are really cool. Those are great family activities.
Hill High has corn maze, West Oaks has a corn maze, and then as you get out of Frederick County, this is heading east,
You go east.
down in Wayside and Great Country Farms
Right,
and places like that have corn
Right.
mazes.
So not
But yeah,
many.
in Frederick County, there's only a handful.
I wonder how many of them, when you did your first one, were thinking, they have no idea what they're in for.
Levi from West Oaks was a super big help in helping us get set up. He was a great contact
Oh, he's
point.
awesome.
I was able to give him a call probably 100 times. By the end of it, he was probably thinking, I wish he would quit calling me. And even this year, I've touched point with him on a couple different things, really just using some of his knowledge to be able to get us on the right path without having to go down
Right.
the
Well, being
trial
able to
area
tell you what
first.
not to do
Yeah,
sometimes is
right.
as valuable as pointing you in the right direction.
And saving some big money mistakes, right?
Yeah.
They're great. You've got the homestead group, the homestead farming group. Our farm markets are so collaborative, generally speaking. Like they are almost all friends that,
Oh,
that
yeah.
we know.
Agritourism, I feel like in
builds
Frederick
on
County in
itself.
particular, is like a club more so than an industry because everybody knows everybody else. Everybody calls everybody and says, hey, I'm having a problem with this. What do you suggest? Or I'm out of this and I'm having this event here. You can borrow some of mine?
And you would think it would be really competitive, but it's not. They understand that the more you have, the more people come. Because usually when you're doing a farm market, you don't just go to one. You go to a couple of them. Like we always do that when we go out with our kids. We always hit a couple of different farm markets in one day. Because you only spend so long at each one. But each one has a different kind of set of
Thing.
attractions and thing to it. And they're really good about that. It's great to see that collaboration. And these are families that have known each other.
The Kleins have been lifelong friends of ours, and William from the Kleins farm last year, our pumpkins and apples came from them. So it was awesome to be able to collaborate locally and source that locally instead of having to outsource to other areas. We were able to sell their produce through our market, and it helps them expand. It gives us more of an offering to our customer base that's coming in. It was really cool to watch that come together. It seems like that's really where we're headed. It seems like it's becoming more of a common thing as all the farms are coming together and people are spending more time interested in this and almost headed back to the self-sufficiency route and spending less time in the grocery stores and more time locally sourcing from their local families and their community. And
I'm happy to see that wanting to know where your food comes from isn't a trend anymore. It's becoming what you do.
Just expected.
It's just what you do. And I love that you have so many options. And that if you don't have a certain product, but somebody else does, but maybe they're not open when you're open, that you guys can partner up and still be able to sell their products. It makes it much better for me as a consumer, but it makes it better for both of you because now you can bring in a customer that maybe you wouldn't have otherwise, and they can sell their product to somebody that wouldn't have had access to it otherwise.
right?
Now, the only thing I'm really seeing like super competitive is the apple cider donuts, right? So everybody has their favorite apple cider donut. Like, I'm not going to tell you who my favorite one is, but I've definitely got one.
I can tell you that mine is not in Frederick County.
Really? Oh, how dare you?
I know, it's
Oh,
kind
my
of scary,
goodness.
isn't it? I'm still an Apple House girl.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. But
That's
there's
the
there's
original.
a competition point. All right. There's a competition point. Maybe we can make apple cider donut trail. Hey, if you start doing
Yeah.
apple cider,
You do a
I'll
pumpkin
get
spice
trail.
donut, I'm in.
Yeah. Hey, we'll get a trail. I'll start making them. I can make with 3. I can make a trail. That's all I need. I need 3. I got 2. I need
Hey,
one
well,
more.
you got 3
That
corn
is true.
mazes.
Ooh, corn maze trail.
They're all different
It's
designs.
a trail of trails. Yeah. Anyways. Okay. Anyways. Whatever. Well, I'll think on that.
When you opened last season, you opened and you had the corn maze trail, you had a playground for kids.
Yeah.
What did you have last year versus what you're going to have this year?
So last year we had what I would call the staple attractions, where we had the corn maze, we did the hay rides, we had a playground area for the kids, we had a haystack for the kids. We're really geared towards that younger family, a place for kids to come play. This year we added a pedal tractor track, so we have 7 pedal tractors. We tamped some gravel into a circular track. The playground is much more complex, it's much larger, and we're still working on what our additions in the future are going to be. The barn was really the biggest undertaking this year, was to give an enclosed area and a place to be able to offer more on the market side.
Let's take a break and we come back. Walk me through what you're hoping to do with the market. Can we do that?
Of course.
We are recording on location today at Russell Ridge Farm Market. It is located in Clear Brook. It is Tourism Tuesday, Winchester, Frederick County edition. So Justin Kern's sitting here next to me. We're going to come back and talk more with Travis Russell in just a couple of minutes.
This Saturday, Henry Mueller will change the world. He has no idea that's what he's going to do. He only knows that he went to justserve.org and signed up to spend time at a senior center Saturday morning. As he browsed through service opportunities in his own community, he remembered the words of Paul to the Galatians, "By love, serve one another." Little does Henry know that Saturday morning he'll end up speaking to one senior in particular who hasn't seen his family in several weeks and is feeling especially lonely. Henry doesn't know the short time he'll spend with this man will lift his spirits, cheer his heart, and make his life just a little better. Through love and service this Saturday, Henry Mueller will change the world. See the difference you can make. Sign up for service opportunities in your community. Visit justserve.org.
Welcome back to the Valley today. I am your host, Janet Michael. It is Tourism Tuesday, Winchester, Frederick County edition. Justin Kern sitting next to me. We're in barn number 1 of Russell Ridge Farm Market in Clear Brook. Barn number 2, as we're sitting here today recording, Justin, is under construction. But Travis, I am told that as people are listening, you're going to be open.
We will.
What are you hoping for that space? Because there's 2 stories. So I know the first floor is what is actually going to be open to the public. Second story is going to take a little bit longer.
Correct. Yeah, so this year, the second story will still be under construction. We will still have some remaining things on the outside of the barn, board and batten, which you would see on an old-time barn. It's not going to be completely finished. We will have the bottom farm market space open. We will have all of our goods that we sell and some antique type stuff, as well as some crafty type things that my mom really takes care of making, that are made in-house by the family. So that really will be what we have this year. Over the winter, we're hoping to finish the top portion of the barn and then really get into the private event side, specifically around your smaller parties, your kids' birthday parties, bridal showers, baby showers, really a place for, once again, people with their family and friends to come out and have that space to be on some open ground and enjoy their time, whatever they're celebrating in their life and whatever is bringing them excitement at that moment. It'll be a separate area, and it's a 2-story barn, but it's a bank barn. So the back is built to have an entrance directly in, so there's not shared traffic between the farm market and the event center. So I look for that to open up in the springtime is our current goal. So we'll really be able to then start offering those events to the local community.
From a market perspective, do you carry pumpkins and do you have mums? Can I buy produce, tomatoes, things like that here? What sorts of items do you have?
We're not so much of a produce stand. We do in the fall, we offer pumpkins and apples and a few select things on the produce side, but we're not currently planning to get into the produce side. We're more so looking to get into some of the antiques and the crafty type stuff. We're going to continue to make the homemade goods that will be available. I mean, we have quite the selection there.
Like jams and jellies and
Jams, jellies. There,
right?
We have some candles and some wax melts, different dessert type breads, cookies. Back to the crafts, my mom hand sews sunflowers, and we have sunflowers on sticks and scarecrows and mini dresses, and there's a whole bunch of things. I'd have to go through the whole list.
I'm trying to remember what it was that your grandmother used to make for all of our holiday dinners, because Judy had a specialty and I can't remember now what it was. I want to say it might be fudge.
Chocolate pies? Don't get me started on chocolate pies.
Right? Yeah.
What exactly is a chocolate pie?
It's
like a chess? Is it like a chess?
It's not like a chess pie, but honorable mention chess pie is one of my favorites.
Okay.
It's not like a fudge pie because it's a very trying to think of
not
the
as
consistency.
dense.
Right. It's more of a, I don't know that I want to see Jell-O, but that's a closer
Yeah, it's thicker than
representation.
pudding, but not solid like fudge.
Somewhere in between.
It
Yes.
is so good.
And it's just good.
So
You
are you
slap
doing
meringue
that?
or whipped cream on
No,
it, and
that might
okay.
stay a private.
that would get
family
me back to a
recipe
family
there.
reunion. So if any, and maybe some of the other Russells are going, no, we don't want her back at any family reunion, so that's okay. But yeah, Judy used to make oh man, she was
She still
quite.
does. Still makes them every Christmas.
Now I want one of those.
Every Christmas at Grandma's house.
Now everybody who's listening is going to come in and say, hey, where's my chocolate?
There's going to be demand.
I'm going to have to print out the recipe and tape it on the wall.
There you go,
Take
yeah.
your own picture.
She could do a recipe book.
She could.
That would be something cool to be able to have in the market.
It's hard for me to say exactly what the future holds.
You're new at this, and people are going to tell you, hey, we'd really like to see you do this, and then you're going to have to do some research, find out whether you can source it, and it's going to grow and change, I would think, from year to year.
Of course. One thing that I do know that will stay around, and what all of us as a family are really passionate about, is, and I know I keep saying it and I keep harping on it, is really that place for young families, and not even just young families, I don't want to hone in specifically on that, to come out and have a place for kids to play. I can't describe the excitement that it gives us to watch these kids have the time of their life running around on a playground and running through the corn maze, seeing how fast they can get through. We do an event every year that is a corn maze race. So we keep a leaderboard in the market of how fast you can get through, and the winners win a pumpkin per person on the team with up to 4 people. It's so exciting to watch kids having so much fun that they don't always get year round.
And from a parent's perspective, then they go home, they feed them dinner, and they crash, and they get to watch TV in silence and do all the things because the kids are passed out in bed.
You had mentioned this when we got here. I'm looking right over here, and I could probably see one of the roofs if I stood up high enough over at Snowden Bridge. You're that close, right across, over and down, so 5-10 minutes over, and that's how many kids are in there. They don't have a huge yard. So here's the huge yard. Come right out here and off you go.
We're about a mile west off 81.
And then you have events on Saturdays. You do events every week.
Yeah, so every Saturday we have a different event, and if you follow us on our socials at Russell Ridge Farm Market on Facebook or Instagram, we post there. So we have an event per Saturday. Some of them run the full time. We're open from 10 to 6. Some of them are a more limited time in between, but we have quite a different array. Like I said, the corn maze race is one of them. My personal 2 favorites, we do a paint a pumpkin. People are able to come out, they purchase whatever pumpkin they'd like, and then we supply the paint and paint supplies for free. They're able to paint their pumpkin, let it dry while they go play on the playground, and then take their pumpkin home. That was one of our biggest events last year, and kids really loved it.
I can just imagine the art that they came up with painting those pumpkins.
The other one, and really what ended up being our biggest event last year, is an event we do called Tract or Treat. It's similar to a trunk or treat, but we put the candy in candy buckets in the buckets of tractors around the farm. And kids are able to just free roam around the farm and get candy out of the buckets. And we had a big crowd last year, and even still on our Facebook events, it by far has the most interest. It's up close to 1,000 people marked interested on it right now.
And that's a cool idea. That's better. Like trunk or treats always bothered me a little bit. There's no effort at all. Like at least this is, there's free roaming, there's running around.
With a lot of our other farm markets, it's typically a market that's somewhat separate from the farm. So the fact that these kids get to see a tractor up close and personal, they get to see what the bucket looks like on them, they get to see how big the tires actually are. You don't normally get to see a lot of that when you go to some of the other markets because they're actually on the farm doing the work. So you've got a really unique perspective of being able to do that, particularly for that event.
Are you doing you can cut this out if you're not doing, are you doing a tractor pull or is that?
Yeah, the hay rides are available.
Oh, you're doing hay rides. Okay, don't cut that out. All right.
So we run hay rides every 30 minutes. From the time we open, we run our first one at 10:30, and they run every half hour for the remainder of the day. And if we have more people on site, we'll run them back to back. I'll run it all day long. Leading into that, the only time we're open this year specifically, outside of Saturday and Sunday, is we do 2 Friday night events that we call the Moonlit Hay Ride and Flashlight Corn Maze. So we run that in the evening time after it gets dark. You're able to bring your own flashlight, walk through the corn maze, half by moonlight, half by flashlight. You can still see them. I know we're sitting here, but you can still see the lights on the hay wagon from where we ran that event last year. That was a super fun one. It's more of an adult-driven. It was a good opportunity for parents that wanted a night
away.
They were able to come out and experience it without interruption. We saw almost a different clientele on Friday nights. It was a really cool experience to see the difference, but we're really excited about those Friday night events too.
Now, do you plan to do any kind of food on site, like even if it's food trucks or things like that?
Yeah, so I have 2 different food trucks scheduled for this year. 2 of my very favorites, Franklin's Smoking Barnyard, that usually is set up down at Weber's, then the Hot Box Food Company is out of Woodstock, Virginia. Both were here on site last year, super cool guys to work with, and they are back this year. Posted on our events on Facebook, you can see which days they're gonna be here. That's really the only food offerings that we have right now. What the future holds, I don't know.
Yeah, it's so far down the road.
I'd love to eventually get to the point where whether we had a food truck that was operated by someone else that was on site significantly more often, or if it was the family opening up a food truck type venture.
So you mentioned you're open Saturdays and Sundays, 10 until 6, except for those 2 Friday night events.
Yep.
What months? Because you're not open in January.
No, so this year we will run every Saturday and Sunday through the end of October.
Okay.
And then we will close down for the winter time. The fall has been the only time we've been open thus far. Going into next year, I'm hoping to be able to expand that into more of a spring, summer, fall type schedule, and then just be closed in the winter. And if we had enough interest, I'm not opposed to being open through the winter either.
And I could see with that corn maze having fundraisers, partnering up with nonprofits to do those races, and people donate money to participate, and being able to partner with a lot of the nonprofits and stuff in our area. There's a lot of potential, I think, here.
Yeah, it was really cool. We had one company come out and do a company event here. They rebooked with us for this year. So that's something else that we're looking to expand into, with the top portion of the barn being that kind of event space. Gives them a place that if they wanted to do an off-site training or just an off-site team building event, it gives them an opportunity to bring their team members out. It was about 600 people
Wow.
who came last year for a company event. So it was super cool, and a kind of a different branch of market to be able to get into, to have companies come in.
So let's talk for a second about the all-important location, because I got lost coming here. And I thought I knew where you were. So it's a little complicated for how people find you, but not really.
I know, it's really easy to find. It just, the Google Maps makes it complicated.
Makes it complicated.
Right.
Yeah, so
The location is easy.
we currently do not have a physical address. We're working on sorting out that complication, but we are literally a mile west off of 81, and the barn is right out next to the road. It is hard to miss.
It's got to be easier now that that barn's there for people to
Yes.
find you.
That was one of the things that we battled with last year, is where we're sitting right now is where the market ran out of last year. It is pretty far removed from the road, so we relied heavily on now open signs and people wondering
What is open?
Where am I going?
I had quite a few people pull in here last year to just say, what is this?
Right.
What are we at
What is
right
it that's
now?
open right
Yeah.
now?
So I think it's going to be a little more apparent this year
Yeah.
what we are, and you're able to see all of the attractions from the road. So it's going to make it quite a bit more accessible to drive by. People that haven't, if you don't use social media or you haven't heard about us, and you drive up Hopewell Road, you might say,
Where does that
this?
come from?
And you've got a sign on the road too that has your hours
Yep,
and
yep.
the dates, so that's good. Yeah. you can
And
see
there's
that
going to be
right from
plenty
the
of
road.
parking.
Yes.
That's the other upside to this
Yes.
location, is you've got space for people to park.
Yes, and one thing I failed to mention thus far is we do run our pricing a little different. We run just a flat admission fee. It's $10 per person. Kids 2 and under are free. The $10 to get you in includes unlimited access to the hay rides, unlimited access to the corn maze, unlimited access to the playground, and then anything separate that you purchase in the market is, of course,
Right.
outside of that.
But all the activities are included once you get in there.
Yes. So it
That's
makes it
nice.
It makes it a little easier that if you're just interested in shopping in the market, no harm, no foul. You can come in, shop around, look around. Whenever you complete your purchases, you're good. If you're coming in, you want to go to the attractions, you wait in line one time, you get through, and there's no, your kids don't say,
And then
oh,
it's free
I really
reign.
want to take a hay ride. You've got to go back in the market, wait
Get
through the
the ticket,
checkout
right,
again,
yeah.
get the tickets, get the wristbands. So it's just an easy way to come in. We try to keep it as reasonable as possible on pricing. Come in, covers everything, you're good to go for
It's
the
like
day.
downtown Disney. You can shop all you want, but then you got to pay to get past the doors to get all the rides. There you
Yep.
go. Yep. So you go to the market for free. All the parking is free. All that.
Yep.
But you got to pay to get past the market. That's a good setup.
Yeah, just the simplest way to,
Yeah.
simplest for us and for the consumers.
Do you take plastic?
We do, we take
Because I know
cash.
sometimes people get to
Yes.
places like this and then it's cash only, so that's good to know.
Yeah, we are cash or credit.
I am still trying to wrap my head around how you came up with this whole idea.
Yeah, so it's interesting. We had an article come out in the Winchester Star, and the headline, I don't remember the exact verbiage, but it was a farm market risen from the desolation of a drought. And it's the perfect explanation to how we came about. So we had a tough year, and I mentioned that we had just purchased this land, and depending on what your knowledge is of farming, the amount of work and money that you put out on the upfront to hopefully make that back in the fall when you harvest, it's quite the risk. So when you have a year that is that detrimental and you are starting to look into different avenues of how do you keep this around?
Right.
agritourism is what made sense for us, and it was really a dream of mine for quite some time now. It's been 10 plus years that I'm like, if we could just get a start, I know we could build something that
It is what saves a lot of farms.
It is.
It's interesting.
It's what saves a lot of farms.
I've talked to a lot of the local farmers and a lot of families that have been through this. They're doing the same thing that we are. It is a great way to be able to offer something of value to the local community and also keep the rural farm ground in play.
Because you say it all the time. Once farmland becomes houses, it never returns to farmland ever again. And that is bad for all of our communities.
My brother always says it will only go for sale once. And once it goes up for sale,
That's it.
In your lifetime, it's pretty well gone, especially if it is being turned into houses.
There's a lot of awareness now in the community of, hey, we don't want to lose this. Kind of looking around and saying, wait, these farms, my double hat, I guess, I wear a number of hats, and one of them is also on the planning commission, which for the county. We look at all of this stuff, and we've got all the plans that we look at and all the zoning and all that long range planning, and we have to consider all of that in there. But just sitting on that board, we see so much from people coming in and making the public comments and saying, hey, we don't want to lose our farmland. What can we do? We want to keep our farmland. We don't want this farmland to turn into blank, whatever it is. And so this is a great way for the public to support the farms. Support the farm markets when they're out there. Pick 2 weekends this season and go farm market hopping. Go spend a couple bucks here and hump a couple bucks there, a couple bucks there, and do that 2 different weekends, one on the north side, one on the south side.
Well, it's also really great from an education perspective because like you were saying, so many people that have never farmed, that don't even have a garden necessarily in their backyard, have no idea what has to happen in order for that crop to be available for them to buy in a market anywhere. So having the ability to come to some of these farm markets that are located on the actual farms makes it so much better for them to then get a grasp of, oh wow, this was a lot. And if you start spouting off numbers, there are a lot of commas in the numbers from buying the land to prepping the land to growing the crop to getting the crop harvested. It's a lot that I don't think some people really understand.
I mean, we were just talking earlier offline about the corn and that you planted the corn. You've actually got the corn this year, but the price is so low that it's, now I've got it, but the price is so low. But how do you store it? You don't have a silo. How much does it cost to build a silo?
You start talking about putting grain bins up, those commas come out pretty quick.
Right. So it's hard, and there's a lot of risk in there. And agritourism can nullify some of that risk.
Yeah, it definitely gives local farmers an avenue to have a little bit of a different revenue stream to be able to stay around. And this farm had been broken up into lots, and it was going to be, I can't remember if it was 64 or 67. This was set to be houses. This was supposed to be a housing development, and we were able to get in, get it purchased, keep it in farm ground, but it was as close as you can be to never being a farm again as it could possibly be.
Wow. And now you're giving back to the community. So thank you for giving back to the community.
Thank you.
You're providing this.
It was an outpouring support last year. I had so many people that walked up to me and shook my hand and said, thank you for this not being houses.
And now we're sitting here.
Yes, and I still, again, I'm having a so this will be on the podcast, it won't be on the radio. So for people that are listening, your dad is my first cousin. Your grandfather is my uncle. My grandfather would be your great-grandfather. And it's because of him that I'm afraid of cows. So Granddaddy had a very small farm, had a barn, had cows over a little bit further deep down into Clear Brook past Brucetown, and he would get them at the stock sale. I would go with him to the stock sale, and he would buy them, we'd load them up into his truck, and we'd bring them home, and he had a chute that he would send them down to put them into the farmland, and that they always scared me, and I have been afraid of cows since I was way before you were born. But yeah, so it's weird.
It's a reminder of just how small the community is.
It is crazy, because we were talking, you were like, yeah, Russell, there are a lot of Russells up there, and you get here, you're like, and you guys start throwing out names, and you're like,
it was crazy. And then I said something about family living down the street, and then he mentioned who his dad was, and I'm like, oh yeah, and he had a brother, and he's like, oh yeah, he's sitting over there, and then I'm like, oh my gosh.
Went over and said, hey cousin.
Because you get it. We had, and it was funny when I was recording this morning with Sam Armel for the show people will hear next week, she, as an Armel, gets the same thing. So people would always say, oh, Russell, are you? No, we're not the apple Russells.
Yep.
And no, we're not the roofing Russells. So it was always, which Russell group are you?
It's the same thing I told you on the phone, and I'm like, there's the roofing Russells, and then there's the apple orchard Russells, and
we're all the others.
Yes.
My last name is Kearns. There's literally a town here with my name on it. And no, I'm not related to any of them.
But see, you're lucky though, because you can say, I'm not from here, and that conversation ends.
Yes.
We can't do that.
You can't do that. Yeah, you're related to somebody somehow, yes.
So fall is here. People are looking for all sorts of things to do. So once they're done hanging out and having a blast at Russell Ridge Farm Market, where can they find other things to go into?
I say this all the time. Renee does a great job with our website. We have our events calendar. We have also on there, we have a farm markets tab. So if you want to look on, just click on the farm markets tab. They're all on there. There's 3 pages of them. If I go on the what's happening page one more time and see somebody post, hey, are there any farm markets around here? Yes, there are farm markets around here. We have oodles of them. They are fantastic. We have from itty bitty little micro farms like Garrity's all the way up to West Oaks and everywhere in between. And they're on the north side now, thank you, and they're on the south side and in the middle and all over the place.
And they really are all great.
Yes.
I've spent
all the families are great.
We as a family have been for years going to these places and supporting for such a different experience, and they're all such great experiences. And
yeah, you can go. You can hop. I love hopping, and you get different things at each one of them.
Yep.
So if it was all the same stuff, it would be boring. But they're all different.
Nope.
All the families.
And it's really cool to see how so many of them have grown. Like you and I did Garrity's. She didn't even have that market open yet.
No.
It was very much like what you have on your first floor right now. It was somewhat of a building, and this is what we hope to do here, and this is where we'd put this if we had it. And now
we were sitting there in the garage, and there was like nothing.
There was nothing in the garage, and now you look at what they've done and how engaged she is with other farmers, and she's teaching chicken processing classes and all of these things. It is so cool to see how well they're doing and how far they've come.
And you're only 3 generations in, so when you're 8th generation, when your great-great-grandkids are running this market, they're going to have a radio show to go back. There's going to be a podcast somewhere online that somebody is going to find, and they're going to come and listen, and we'll have a picture up of before the farm was finished, before the barn was finished, and we're preserving that right here.
That's one thing that I really am interested in doing, is providing something to leave for the future generations. It's no secret that there have been many farms that have been generational, and it only takes 1 generation for it to be gone.
To say I'm out.
Whether that's for personal reasons or
financial,
for financial, tax reasons,
health, or whatever. There's
a million reasons, yeah. But my goal is to be able to keep something on the farm that for generations to come, that this can still be a thing 200 years down the line, that this barn will still be standing here doing the same thing that we're trying to do today.
Thank you for making the sacrifices, and I know you guys are building that thing yourselves out there, and you built the playground yourself, and there's a lot of blood, sweat, and tears in this. And
definitely been a family adventure. It's been a lot of fun, a lot of work, and I'm excited to be seeing it come together this year, and I'm looking forward to having everybody out.
Yeah, we'll be here.
Russell Ridge Farm Market, Facebook, Instagram.
Yes.
Visit winchesterva.com/events, and it's all there.
Yeah, all that stuff's on there. Farm markets are on there. All that stuff's on there. I got to make sure Renee puts this on there. I'm going to text her right now and be like, make sure they're on there. Yeah.
And I want to get this in. I want to get this in on the radio portion.
Yes.
The number of people that have told me how much they enjoyed Hungry for History.
Oh, yeah.
And that they went to all these different places and learned all these different things. So I know
ours was really busy.
It was amazing, the number of people that thought it was fantastic. So pat Renee on the back and tell her
this was
good
a
job.
Renee baby. She came up with this 2 years ago, and she stuck at it. It's finally getting some traction. It takes a year or two.
It takes a while.
Yeah, but all the different attractions and sites are really getting into it and starting to own it and get creative with it, and we're getting some really good stuff. Yeah, thank you. I'll pass that along.
I will be back tomorrow with a brand new episode of The Valley Today, a few minutes after noon, so meet me here then.